For me, it was the first time having a narcissist. Now I know how they are, and now I know all the phases. Problem is, they can be very deceiving, very manipulative. Yes, this is a common myth online, propagated by numerous self-styled experts. It's not true. You recognize a narcissist according to studies in Harvard and other schools. You recognize a narcissist between 3 and 30 seconds after you meet them. I didn't say days, I said seconds. There have been multiple studies that have demonstrated that people are able to correctly diagnose someone with narcissistic personality disorder 85% of the time, having been exposed to the narcissist for 30 seconds, 30 seconds, through a photo, through a video, or through an email. When you come across a narcissist, and yes, this applies to covert narcissists also, when you come across a narcissist, multiple studies over 2 decades have demonstrated without any doubt whatsoever that you immediately know this is a narcissist. So why don't you run away? You realize it's a narcissist. Why do you continue? Why do you date the narcissist? Why do you marry the narcissist? Why do you have a relationship with the narcissist, cohabit with the narcissist, become friends with the narcissist, work with the narcissist? Why don't you simply run away? Because you don't trust yourself. You don't trust this intuition, this gut feeling. You tell yourself, I ought to give a second chance. Or you tell yourself, I'm too judgmental. Or you tell yourself, I'm lonely, I need someone. I can compromise, it's not such a big deal. Or you're starved. You're starved for sex, you're starved for touch, you're starved for companionship. You're needy. You deny. You have all the information within 30 seconds. There isn't a single study that contradicts this. Not one. But you deny this information. You repress it, you ignore it, and you move on because you need to move on. You lie to yourself. You deceive yourself into the relationship. After that, what are you going to say? How stupid I've been. I should have listened to my gut feeling, gut instinct. People don't like to criticize themselves. They have defenses, narcissistic defenses. So instead of saying, I knew all along that it is a narcissist, and I made a very stupid decision to continue, which happens to be the truth in many cases. Rather than say this, you would say, I have been deceived by the narcissist. He is such a great actor. I couldn't believe that he's a narcissist. He pulled the wool over my eyes. He swept me off my feet. I couldn't see straight. It's nonsense, I'm sorry to say. You need to take responsibility for your choices, for your decisions, for your actions, for being there and for staying there. You need to become accountable. You are responsible. You have contributed to every single thing that has happened. Period. I know it's not a popular message, but it's the only one backed by science. Professor Sam, why inflict maximum suffering on a loyal source? Destruction of a good object, engulfment or prophetic abandonment. Why conflate love and resilience with abuse permission? Maternal projection or self-destruct? As I've explained in my work, narcissists are driven by a machinery, an internal machinery, an algorithm. And this machinery, this algorithm, they are inexorable. They cannot be stopped. They cannot be tampered with. They cannot be switched on and off. They cannot be modified. This is the machinery of the narcissist. This is the algorithm. This is the engine. These are the instructions. This is the program that is driving the narcissist. And the program involves several steps, and the same program applies to a romantic relationship, intimate relationship, a relationship with the narcissist children, a relationship with co-workers, a relationship with friends. All relationships go through the same stages of the same machinery. Excuse me, could be a little less noise. Through the same stages of the same machinery. So, you are not responsible for the machinery, and you cannot interfere with the machinery. Nothing you have done, nothing you could have done, nothing you chose to do had anything to do with the machinery, and the narcissist himself is not in control of the algorithm. So, and the algorithm includes an element of devaluation and discard, for reasons that I explain in my videos about the shared fantasy. The narcissist is reenacting early childhood conflicts, mainly with a maternal figure, and converts everyone around him to a mother figure, a mother substitute. And then he has to get rid of her because he has to separate from her. So he has to devalue her and he has to discard her. And when I say her, it applies to a man as well. In other words, the narcissist could be a man or a woman. Both men and women convert others into maternal figures. It is a very old algorithm constructed in early childhood. You just happen to be there. You just happen to be converted into a maternal figure. You're a cartoon figure. You're an animated figure. And so the narcissist doesn't see you as a good object or a good source. He sees you as a participant in a play, in a theater production, in a movie. And there is a script. And you must follow the script. That you follow the script doesn't make you good. That you follow the script does not make you good. That you follow the script does not make you loved. That you follow the script does not make you desirable. That you follow the script does not make you indispensable, does not make you unique, none of this. That you follow the script makes you a person who follows a script, an actress or an actor. End of story. There's no value judgment. There's no emotional resonance. There's no emotional valence. Narcissists don't judge people as good or bad. They judge people as useful or not useful, appropriate or not appropriate. They audition people to the role in the shared fantasy because it's a bit like a movie. But they don't think of you as good or... Now, at some point, the narcissist needs to devalue you and discard you, and then of course he converts you into a persecutory object, into an enemy or hostile entity. But again, this is not the narcissist's choice or decision. You need to accept this. You have been fed into a machine. The machine processed you, and once the machine is finished processing you, it spat you out. And that's it. And another person comes into the machine, and you're all the same. Commoditized, interchangeable, dispensable, not special. Of course, it's very difficult because you're with the narcissist for 10 years and you say, he must have chosen me. He must have chosen me. I'm with him for 10 years. You know? He's not with other people, he's with me. So there's an element of choice. No, there isn't an element of choice. It's like a narcissist would eat 10 grains of rice. And each grain of rice would say, you see, the narcissist is choosing to eat me, not the other grains. He's eating me. You need to adapt your thinking. How shall I get rid of my false narrative of being only worth something and being safe if I'm sick, after abuse from my narcissistic mother with some kind of Mchousen by proxy? Yeah, sickness, being sick, the state of being sick, is often instrumentalized by both the abuser and the victim. So the abuser wants you to be sick Because when you're sick, you're weak. When you're weak, you're dependent. When you're dependent, we are not likely to abandon the narcissist. This is a way to ameliorate and mitigate the narcissist abandonment anxiety. If you are incapable of motion, if you have no options because you are sick, the narcissist feels safe. So the narcissist would try to make you sick. He would drive you to become sick, physically sick, mentally ill. He would push you to the position of dependence on him, where your options, your life is constricted. Your options become much more limited because of your debilitating condition, because of your infirmity and maybe disability. The sickness of the partner for the narcissist has value added, and he encourages it in a variety of ways. Many of these ways can be disguised as concern, as love. So narcissist would say, I'm worried about you. I want you to be healthy. Why don't we do this test? Why don't you take this medicine or supplement? All this is intended to maintain the partner in a state of sickness, in a mental state of sickness. So, on the other hand, the partner of the narcissist, who is typically a victim, but not always, the partner of the narcissist also has an interest in remaining sick. Because as long as she is sick, she gets attention. It's a way to attract the attention of the narcissist. It's a way to secure the narcissist's presence and loyalty or alleged loyalty. It pays both ways. It's a collusion, it's a collaboration. It's not one-sided. And you are right that you call it Mchousen by proxy, a kind of factitious disorder. So, at some point, having tried all other strategies, some couples reach the conclusion that the only glue that can hold them together is the sickness of one of them. Could be the sickness of the abuser or the sickness of the partner. It could be real sickness, or it could be imagined. But sickness is a major factor in dysfunctional relationships that is understudied. There are not many studies, regrettably, and I think it fulfills a huge role in maintaining these relationships and keeping them alive. The narcissist, during the shared fantasy, a narcissist may use the sickness as the sickness of the partner as an excuse to discard the partner. The sickness renders the partner less valuable, less functional, less useful, less worthy, less. Because the sickness renders the partner less, the narcissist feels legitimized to transition from idealization, where the partner is perfect, to devaluation, where the partner is not perfect because she is sick. So, either way, the sickness of the partner is useful to the narcissist. During the initial phases of the shared fantasy, which could last years, the sickness is the glue that holds them together. And during the discard or devaluation phase, the sickness is the explanation or the rationalization of the discard and the devaluation. Of course, if you grew up in a household where the only way to obtain attention and the only way to feel worthy and the only way to feel like a good object and the only way to receive some kind of compassion and caring and empathy and maybe even love is to be sick, as a child, the only way for you to get all these things is to be sick, then you will have learned this as a lifelong strategy. And you would tend to become sick when you want attention. You would tend to become sick when you seek love. You would tend to become sick when you want compassion and empathy. You would leverage this behavior in order to secure beneficial outcomes. It will become part of your self-efficacy. Sickness in many cases is psychological. It's amazing how much sickness is actually completely imagined. It's not real. It's not grounded in the body. And it is an adaptation. It is more functional than we think.